to the Chico, and I would just like to kind of go over some of the different highlights of writing a proposal for a term-long project. I'm sure many of you have already done projects, but this is kind of lasting over a period of 4 months. So I want to kind of take it slow, go over the process with you, and then it should be clear of what needs to be done. What I may have already explained to you is this project is totally based on a company that you want to choose, okay? You can write on any company you want to, and the proposal is going to have to do with putting together research that goes along with your studies as we go through each chapter in the Schermerhorn book. And I believe chapters 1 through 9 are what's going to be covered this term. And essentially, there are 4 leadership functions: planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. What I want you to be able to know is that in this first semester, being a whole year project, right? This first semester, we're going to be covering the planning and the controlling. And semester number 2 in 2019, we're going to be covering the organizing and the leading. So, having said that, the first thing that we do in business, strategically anyway, is we plan. We need to come up with a strategic plan. So what I'm going to have you do in this particular project is go through the following process. You're going to basically, number one, now that you're all in teams, each team is going to come up with a company they would like to write about. And what I'd like you to do is to pick a team leader. That is somebody that is going to be pretty much advocating for the whole team, have the ability to be able to put a lot of what we do together, the whole dynamic of what we do. And then when we come to the end of the project, be able to speak to all the different components that put the project together. For example, if you have an orchestra, everybody knows how to play their instruments well, exclusive to them in an orchestra, right? But the conductor is kind of holding everything together. The conductor knows what the outcome has to be, what the music has to sound like. Not each individual instrument, but all the instruments combined. So let's think about that for a minute. What you are essentially going to do is, as a team, number one, choose a company that you want to write about. Then take one part of that company, and that company could be human resources, it could be marketing, it could be production, could be sales, it could be the strategic team. That's in the upper echelon, which includes the CEO, CFO of the company, and so forth. And then once you choose the part of the company you want to talk about, okay? I think I left out finance, that too. But once you choose that part of the company that you want to talk about, I want you to focus on that one section of the company and research it. So what do I mean by that? What I mean is look into the company and find out a specific problem they might have, something they're trying to improve, or maybe you're just interested in how they run certain operations within that segment that you chose. For example, if you chose human resources, you want to find out how they how their human resources department is set up, what are some of the pros and the cons of the department. So when we talk about pros and cons in management, we'll talk about this as the year progresses. We're talking about what they refer to as a SWOT analysis. A SWOT essentially stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So you take that particular department and you look at what they strive at. Okay, what do they do very well? What are some of their threats? Okay, what do they do not so well? What are some of their opportunities where they could improve and do better? So looking at the company that way, once you chose the company, the next thing you want to do, once you choose the company, the next thing that you want to do is you want to build what they refer to as a hypothesis. A hypothesis is an if-then statement. In other words, if you think something could be improved on and do better on, write what you think about before you do the research. For example, if I build a better umbrella, then I'll be able to prevent a lot more rain from falling on me. That's a stupid example, but it gives you the idea of what you think you're going to have to do before you actually do your research. If I build a better car, I can go faster. If I put more safety features in the home, I'll have less accidents. But the point is, despite what you say, you have to try to prove that somehow. So your hypothesis is going to be the catalyst of what you think now and what you write down before you actually go ahead and do your research. Now, what we do is once we build a hypothesis, we have sub-goals. Not like many hypotheses, right? In other words, all things that support the main goal. So, for example, if you said, I want to put more safety features in the house, well, you haven't identified what those safety features are, but you know it will make the house safer. So that's like your main hypothesis. Okay. So what are some of the sub-goals that we could do to support making that hypothesis work? Number one, you can identify what safety things you're talking about. Are you talking about putting in better electrical switches? Are you talking about making a room less hazardous? Okay, so you're going to come up with 4 or 5 different things that are going to support that hypothesis. That's what you are writing your proposal about. And their proposal is only going to be maybe 3 or 4 pages, and each team member takes a component of that proposal, one of those sub-goals, and they write a little thing about what they're going to research in that sub-goal to prove that hypothesis. That's what a proposal is about. And I'm going to go through this in class, but I want you to take this video and take a look at it and think of what I'm saying, and then come back into class with questions. So when we get to class in week 3, we can talk about how to build this and get that proposal written, because that is going to be the catalyst of writing your term-long project as a team. Okay? So that's it for now. I want you to go over this video over the weekend by pressing the link. You've already probably done that. You've been able to get into this video. And then go back and write down some questions about it. I'll bring it to life in week 3. Thanks, Professor DeChico.